Hello everyone. So as I have told you yesterday that I was going to record these videos today. So what we are going to start with is getting started with programming. So what is programming in general and what does programming mean? So if you can write anything like a receipt on an index card, you can program a computer. At the simplest level, computer programming is nothing more than writing instructions for a computer to follow step by step. And the most important part isn't in knowing how to write a program or how to use a particular programming language, but it is knowing how to create a program in the first place. So, in knowing what to create in the first place. So, before you program anything, you first have to know what am I going to create. So, as you can see here, I have an image of paper programming. So, what we are saying here is you can call it source code. So all this is source code. Here, all this is source code and programming. But programming isn't like fun like in movies, like what you are saying. Programming is a bit boring, and it's a bit, I don't know how to say it, but it is fun when you're programming. So if you can write anything like on a receipt that this person has taken this one has taken this, and this, if you can write that, you can program. If you have any way you can put instructions into a given form, you can program anything. If you can do it, you can program. So our next part here is how computer programming works. That is the next thing we are going to talk about. So computer programming is nothing more than problem solving. So you get a problem, like the guy who created Facebook. He wanted to help people connect more in different areas, so he decided to create Facebook. And another guy who created WhatsApp, Excel, even PowerPoint, even this recording software I'm using right now. All these people had problems they saw, and then they came in to solve them. So every program is designed to solve a specific problem. For example, graphic designing software like Adobe, like what like this you are seeing here. All this looks good because there is a software that is specifically designed to create this. And the more universal the problem, like calculating formulas in a spreadsheet, or managing money, or searching for music, the more useful the program. So what I decided to do here is I have an example I want us to do, and I want us to create a microfinance program to calculate calculate amount of a client and the interest and the money that they will bring back if that client has taken money from the microfinance. So let us go to next. So now our problem is this. So the next thing in programming is called identifying the problem. So you identify the problem. For example, we need to calculate the interest of a client. We also need to calculate the amount that the client is going to bring back when you have added the interest plus the money the client is taking. So before you even touch a computer, identify the specific problem you want the computer solve. For example, spreadsheet eliminates, and what processor they help you in typing, video games they help you in enjoying when you are playing. So here let us focus on our problem, the program I showed you. So now let me use some stick notes here. Stick notes. So in our stick notes here, our problem, we want to write our problem here. Our problem is to find the client's interest. The client's interest, that is number one. And number 2, we want to find the client his amount, money to bring back. So we have 2 problems we want to solve, and we want to create a program that is going to help us solve these problems. So what is the next thing you do when you are programming? So you define the steps you are going to use when you are writing your program. So after you know what you want your program to do, like to get the interest, and next to get the amount. The second step is defining all the steps that tell the computer how to solve the particular problem. The exact steps that define how the program should work is called an algorithm. I think a lot of you have heard about algorithms. So what our steps going to be in our program here? So let us write the steps. So step number 1, we are going to get the name of the client. Number 2, the second step is we are going to get the amount the client is taking it. So that is our next step. So our third step is to get the interest. That is our third step. Our fourth step. Now I'm writing. You can call this an algorithm, because an algorithm are the steps you take when you are writing a program. Algorithm. So don't mind about the spelling. So our fourth step, after number 1, we're going to get the name of the client, because you need to know the name of the client. The next we are going to get the amount the client is taking. Then from the amount the client is taking, we are going to get the interest. So we haven't yet wrote our program, because to write a program you need a language, a programming language. So we are going to go to that step. So the fourth step we need in writing our program here is to get the real money, the real total. So the real total here, you can even write a formula equals to amount plus the interest. So then the fifth step is we want to print or show our results. So this is an algorithm for the program to find the interest for our microfinance program. So we have our microfinance program, finance program. So the next thing here we are going to do here, the next thing we are going to do on our program here, and this can be the sixth step. I want this program to run automatically. Like you need to first close, stop. So when we end here, you are going to see that it is going to be calculating for only one customer, but we need it to calculate for a lot of clients. So that will be the sixth step, and that will be our last step. So these are the steps we need to create our program here for our microfinance. Microfinance give this problem, because every single time when you are at a microfinance, you need to calculate it's like the amount, the interest, you need to write it. But if you have a simple program here, we are going to write it a script, we are going to even use a language called Python. You could automate all that task. So let me first go back here. So defining the steps, we have defined the steps. An algorithm simply defines one of many possible ways to solve a problem. So this is an algorithm for solving our problem here. So there's no single algorithm for writing a program. So I would have started with interest, maybe anything. So there is nothing best you can use that this is what you have to use. You can use out of things you want. So what is our next step? The same program can be written literally in a million different ways. So the best way to write a program is any way that creates a useful, working, reliable program as quickly as possible. Anything else is relevant. So I think you have understood this. So the next thing I'm going to do is here. Ultimately, programming boils down to two tasks: identifying exactly what you want the computer to do. So you want it to calculate the interest, and also interest and amount, writing step by step instructions that tell the computer how to do what you want to do. So when you're writing a program, we use what we call programming languages. So programming languages, we have what we call low level, high level. I'm going to go through all that in the coming videos, but now I want you to go with the working program after this video. So we have Python, we have Java, C++, Node, Ruby, PHP. All these are programming languages. Here, all that we are seeing here are programming languages, and this image here is source code. So now, before we continue, let us build our program. We've already set up the steps, and now let us build it. And another thing you need to note is the bigger the program, the bigger the problem you want to solve, the longer the program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Python online editor. So here I'm going to use, let me use something like this here. Let me use this one. So I'm going to edit our program online. So I want you to be seeing everything well. So our first step here was get the name of the client. So getting the name of the client, what we are going to do here is we are going to set name equals to input. So input, enter client's name. So we finish our first step in our program is to get the name of the client. Then the step number 2 is getting the amount. So amount shall say equals to float. You understand these terms later, but a float is like you, instead of just using, you change. A float in programming is a number that has a point in it. That is a float. So these programming languages here, they tend to they have a way they calculate stuff, they have a way they work, that if somebody enters anything in what, if anybody inputs characters in the program, it has a way it inputs that program in its system. So most programming languages, when you type anything, maybe a number like this, takes it as a string. But in order, we want to calculate, so we have to convert this string into a number that is calculatable. So we have what we call integers, floats, and others. So right now I want to use a float. So this float, I'm going to say input. I'm going to here enter. You understand all this? That's, I want to give you some source code that you can see. You can, by the first lesson in our discussion, you already have a working program. So enter amount. So after entering the amount, the next step here, you can come back and see here what is our next step. The amount of the client, we finish this one, get the interest. So after getting the amount, we are going to say, let us use an interest of 20%. We're going to say interest. Interest will equal to, let me just say will equal to amount times 20%. Let us take an interest of 20%. I'm going to use 0.2. So amount, this one is already float, so times the float. So the next thing here I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what is our next step? Get the real amount. So we are going to get the total amount plus the interest. So we are going to say real will equal to amounts, this amount here, amounts plus interest, our interest. So the next thing is printing our results. So we are going to set print. We are going to set print. We are going to first start with the name. So we have this plus. You understand all these things later. Plus. So remember what I did here. I placed a float here. So what I'm doing here, I'm converting this integer or float into a string so that it can be printed out. So I'm going to say int. I'm going to first write the interest because we want our program to get for us the interest. So the next thing is plus. We're going to add a plus here, space, and we are going to say plus. I'm going to say name like Owen. Then I'm going to write here interest is, and I'm going to, the interest is going to be there, then the space, then plus. I want to say amount, bring back, space, then amount, bring back. The bring back is, then let me just write two print statements instead of one. So print, just to keep our work organized. I love things that are organized. Print amount, bring back is, then I'm going to say plus, then I'm going to write amount. So let us run our program and see whether it is working. So run. So enter client's name. I'm going to say Owen. Then enter amount, maybe 300. Okay, maybe 300. Okay. So we have a challenge. So we have here interest is not defined. So this interest is not defined. So these are programming errors. These are called bugs in programming. So let me run it again. Enter name Owen. Enter amounts 333. Error again. Okay. String on line 9 here. Print plus amount. Cannot contain string. Okay, amount. So we also have to convert this amount into a string. I forgot. So as you can see, these are programming errors. So I could have wrote this program perfectly, but I want to keep these errors in so that you can see what programming is all about. We keep on getting errors every time. This is a simple program, but I'm just getting errors. So let me run it again. So Owen, then enter amounts. So Owen interest is this. So the interest, the 20% of this is this, and amount to bring back is, we want to bring back 300. So again another error. So I had right here rev instead of amount. So write it again. Oil. So amount. So oil interest is this, and amount to bring back is this. So this, we have solved our problem here, and our program find the client's interest. We've got the interest here, and money to bring back. So the client has to bring back this amount of money. So this is programming to you. So this is how to write a program, and anybody, you can copy this source code, and yeah, just show off to your friends. Just make sure you install Python or use a Python IDE online. So this is programming, and this I've kept all those errors in so that you can see that programming, you keep on getting errors, you keep on fixing errors, you keep on doing it. Like, that is programming to you. So here I'm also going to space here so that our program looks good, and run it again. Let us maybe the first one, the second 100, and then enter amount. Let us say let me run it again. Run. The class name is called Daniel, and then amount. Daniel has taken 200. So Daniel interest is this, and amount bring back is this. So this is our first program. You can copy it and use it anyhow, any way you want. So, but the first program for every programmer is this. You print hello world. So you print hello world. As you can see it here, print hello world. So this is the first program to write for everybody who wants to become a programmer. But with our simple program, we've solved a challenge that a lot of microfinances face. And later, I want us to make this program run like rope. So right now you carry it only for one client and then the program stops. But I want us to carry it for out of clients. So let us come back here. So we have finished to build our program. So I think let us cap ourselves. So that is that. So the next thing is the history of computer programming. So the history, one of the earliest designs for a programmable machine came from a man called Charles Babbage, way back in 1834. So this guy Charles Babbage created what we call the analytical machine. I think I was learning about these things back in high school, but they never showed me this guy. Let me just type it here. I think I showed you the guy who created Excel. Was this guy. Let me just search for Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage here. So this guy here is the guy who created the first computer. This guy here, and he created what we call the analytical machine. Let me show it to you. Analytical machine. So these images, this is what is called the analytical machine we are seeing here. This was the first computer, and to not talk bad on women, the first programmer was a woman, and the first advanced computer was also programmed by women. So women on top. So when you hear about female empowerment, don't get annoyed. Females have been doing a lot of stuff since way back. So the first person who programmed this machine here, what it could do is you could give it instructions. I don't know how they did it, but you could use these cards. I don't know. I just can't comprehend how they did it, but there was a way you could program and give instruction to this. Other machines that were created, they could only do one task, but this thing here you could do a lot of tasks with it. So that is, I think I'm not first end there. That is our part 1, and I'm going to continue with the history. I'm going to show you the first programmer, and I'm also going to tell you about machine code, how the computer reads all these programs, and a lot of other things. So I'm going to first end there, and we shall continue. We shall continue with. We shall talk about C programming. We shall talk about assembly languages. We shall talk about high-level programming, scripting languages, and others. So in our part 1, in getting started with programming. So there is always a difference between knowing a programming language and knowing how to program. So what I've done here, any other programmer can take this step and use it to create a program in any language. So this is our algorithm here. So you have to know how to program, not knowing how to use a given language. So I think I haven't completed our program. we need it to run automatically without closing. So what I'm going to come here, what I'm going to do is I can just add a while loop here. We have what we call while loops. While true. I'm going to do this. So I'm pressing tab on my keyboard, and let me run our program again. So our program is asking us for a name. I'm going to say oil. So enter amount of oil top 100. So oil amount, oil interest is 20,000, and the amount to bring back is this. So another person is called Lala, and then Lala's amount top 200. So Lala's amount is this, and this is the amount to bring back. So another person is called Steven. So Steven's amount, Steve took 400. So Steve's interest is 80,000 and more. So our program can keep on running until we feel like we are tired, until we close. So I'm going to end there, and this is our source code. You can copy it, and you can go to an online editor, and you can use the source code, and you can use it to do anything you want. Now I have no problem with you. So I think I'm going to end there. For now, I think you can say everything. I want you to be able to see the source code. So you can copy it and use it. So, and for those who are running a microfinance, you can also copy this script and use it to improve your life in your microfinance. So I'm ending there for now, and wait for part 2.